male and females, we both need to remember who we are and to honor ourselves, because that's the part we've forgotten.
Everything and anything that someone experiences is true and real in their experience of it, in their truth.
Myself,
of it, right?
As well as with my clients, just using those really simple tools. And even when I've been working with people for 6 years, I'm like, let's go back to our foundations. And so if you want to know how to do that,
serve me, and it doesn't serve anyone else, because it's by being your true self that you empower others to be their true self.
They may not realize that there's a pattern or something in their subconscious mind that it'll come through in the art. And even if you do this for yourself.
It's funny, right? You're always looking for that sound. You're always looking for that something outside of you, and then you find it inside, and you find satisfaction.
I'm going live. Okay. Sorry. I didn't do live. Okay. It's already too late. I didn't mean to hit the button.
And then a little bit of technical issues today. Normally we've got this all done before.
Normally, and it was all going, and then
It was all done, and then, yeah, oh well, stuff happens.
That's right.
Episode, we're going to start in episode 1, season 2, and we have a different time.
We do. So we're going to be airing every Wednesday at 12 o'clock from now on.
We have decided we're going to try and have more guests on this whole season.
So Sandra just posted, thank God for this kind of platform to help support someone like me that can only speak with selected few in my life.
Welcome everybody to Where's Your Focus? I'm Linda Melanson.
And I'm Karen Alexander.
And we are so happy to have you here. Today we have a special guest. But before we get to that, we have some interesting stuff to go through. I'm just putting this on so I can see if we have comments and everything. Oh, France Cormier Petipa, hello.
Hello, France.
Okay, so interesting stuff going on with the energies right now. I was listening to some stuff, so I'll listen to 3 or 4 different people talk about astrology and all of the stuff that's going on before the show, because I just kind of like to get an idea of what's going on. And through one of them had said we're in the 2nd year of the Aquarian age. That's where we're going into the 2nd year of the Aquarian age. And so I started kind of looking into that and doing a little bit more research, because I was like, interesting, the 2nd year, hey? But there's a lot of controversy, although I think that the bulk of them all agree that we went into the Aquarian age in March of 2020, when the whole world shut down.
Excuse me. Wow. Because we thought that was during the conjunction, right? Was the conjunction of the planets on the 21st of December?
Yes. And the youth
of 2020, rather.
Of 2020, which that was brought up too. But there was something about Jupiter and Saturn aligning on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces, that this happened in the March. And they're saying that was the mark of saying now we're into the Pisces age.
Wow.
I thought that was an interesting, and that actually was published before it happened. That particular article that I was reading on that one, where they took the opinions of like 6 or 7 different astrologers and kind of put it all together. And then there was somebody else who was talking about December 2020.
Okay. So if it was actually March 2020, then we're heading into the 3rd year in March. starting in
Well,
March.
and this is the interesting thing is the first year, it's almost like when you're born, you start like you have 0 months, 1 month, 2 months. So you're not your first year, you're in the zero energy.
Yes.
And then your
Oh,
very
yes, right,
year is
right.
number 1. And then the next one is number 2. So that's my understanding. So now we're going into a number 2.
Well, we would, realistically, you're in your first year when you're 0 to 1. You're in your second year when you're 1 to 2. And you're in your third year when you're 2 to 3, right? So we would be going into the third year come March.
Yes.
This would be our second year, but it wouldn't be 2 years until March.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so anywho, it's all very interesting. So when you look at what the Aquarians, so because the ages, they go backwards they don't move forwards like we do going through the sun signs. It goes backwards, right? So it started Aries, then went into Pisces, and now we're into Aquarius. So the Aquarius, because it's the number 3, it's all about communication, which makes sense. This is like, we're all about technology now. Everything is becoming more and more technologically advanced, and it's all about communication, right? So being able to communicate deeper. And also the Aquarius mind is all about taking higher divine concepts, bringing them to people so that they can understand higher divine concepts, through our physical mind. I guess that's the best way to put it. So that's what this is all about, is being able to communicate that stuff forward, right? Now going into, if now from what I understand, it's the energy of the 2, because it's the second age in the Aquarius.
From 2 out, okay?
From 2 out. So the 2 is all about understanding deeper meanings within the people that we're connected to.
Okay.
So that's what a 2 energy is all about. Now, when we come down the mark, so, going into 2022, it's all about community, and it's all about like feeling each other and being able to communicate with one another with less words, and being able to feel deeper what's going on. And so as we're coming into 2022 under this 2 energy of wave, I think we are in for a huge, putting up your boundaries and picking up other people's energies may not be so easy for the next year. Right?
Oh, okay.
Exactly. It may take a little bit more effort to protect your energy throughout this next year. And all of it coming together to make a 6. Again, we're looking at community. We're looking at supporting one another in a community and tribe, understanding deeper aspects about who people are, what their strengths are, and being able to see more of this in other people. So it's been pretty interesting, this little shift that we're going through right now too, because on the 18th was the mark of the full moon. Right. And then we did the 21st was the winter solstice. And this energy has been really soothing, completing a bunch of different stuff that, it's like, okay, that's all done. Now we're moving into this new field and this new energy that's coming up in this new year. It's all very exciting.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And so, excuse me, what was that?
That is exciting.
It is. And the Capricorn. So right now we're in a moon of Capricorn. So again, this is just kind of punching it in there to finish up those old tasks that we've been taking on all year, complete things, completion. It's all about getting things done so that when we're moving into the next year, we're moving into this new phase. And I feel like the last couple of months, I feel like this is what a lot of the energy has been geared towards, is pushing us through completing all of this stuff. So that's what I got for today.
So much. That makes so much sense too, Linda. And the community, we've been talking about this community energy that's been coming for a little while now. At least the last 2 podcasts, right? Or Vidcast, we've mentioned that. So yeah.
And I'm mentioning it a lot because I feel like the next year is going to be so strong.
It is. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah. And supporting each other, right? It's a lot of supporting each other. So exciting. Yeah. So the frequency. So today, oops, you okay?
Curtain down.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
so
there we
today
go.
I thought we would talk about the Om frequencies.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's actually one Om frequency, but there's different octaves of it, right? So, and kind of everything is the same when it comes to that. So there's 68.05 is the low Om frequency. 136.1 is the mid Om frequency, and 272.2 is the high Om frequencies. So they're all the same. They're just one octave apart, right?
Okay.
And what they do is they help to release strain and stress on the heart.
Ooh.
So I thought they would be a good frequency to talk about today, especially with all this energy and like you talk about, the difficulty of keeping our boundaries up, or, so the heart has a lot to do with that, right? They're also really good to use when your energy is low. So if you're not able to focus, or you're not able to concentrate, or you have trouble connecting or grounding, those are really good frequencies to use. So what I did was I didn't have those frequencies in tuning forks, and I still don't have all of them. I do have the 272.2 in my tune pipes, but I ordered on Amazon a tuning fork. Never done that before. Okay. I thought, well, I'm going to try just to see what those quality forks are like. So I ordered this set of forks, and it is the 136.1 hertz, which is the mid ohm.
Okay.
And with it, I got another tuning fork that is the 256.
Okay.
But what they both came with is crystal feet.
Ooh, nice.
Right? Which can be removed as well. So they can be removed, and they're really cute, and they can be added on other forks as well. So the one on the mid ohm that I got is a tumbled blue goldstone. Okay. Which is, it's a reflector of unwanted energies, and it's very effective in healing the heart, the throat, and the third eye. So I thought, well, that's a pretty good conductor, right? For passing that energy through, that frequency through. Okay, so let's go back to the ohms. The low ohm, which is 68.05, is usually used on the lower part of the body. Okay, so really good for grounding. If you use it on your knees and your feet, you can use it on your pelvis, whichever. The mid ohm is used probably from about the navel up to the third eye or so. Maybe just the throat, like, anywhere from here to here. And then the high ohm, the first two ohms, the low and the mid, are usually used on the body directly. But the high ohm, so the 272.2, is actually used in the energy around. And it's said to have the energy of the soul energy, the soul chakra, the soul star chakra. Yeah, so that's really interesting. And it's so it's what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to, and again, I use my tune pipe. I don't use tuning forks, so I'm just going by what I've read and everything on this. But what it's supposed to do is supposed to rebalance the energetic field of the centers at the top. So we talked about the energy centers before, the lunar, the soul star. This is where that high ohm would be working. Yeah, so in general, if you're listening to them or you're using them, like you listen to them, right? Or you use them on your body, they're very deeply relaxing. They promote physical, emotional, and spiritual healing, as well as health, right? They're really good on joints, on muscles, on any nerve groups. So really, they're really good to have. And I'm actually quite pleased with the quality of these two forks that I received, that I got on Amazon, and they were only $58, including the feet. So I was completely shocked. Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, the only other thing I wanted to say quickly is last week we talked about the 128, right?
Yeah.
And we did mention a little bit about binaural beats. If you use the mid-ohm, which is the 136.1, and the 128, which is good for physical pain, right? If you use both of them together, listening to them, they create a binaural beat of 8.1. So it just brings you into the low alpha, just before the theta. So if you're having trouble connecting when you're going into meditation, you can actually use these two together and to kind of help you get into that meditative state.
Awesome. If that's the case, then it would also help you to remember your dreams too.
Yeah.
Because the more active your alpha brain states are while you're dreaming, the more you'll remember.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? So cool. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I'm just having to look at my notes here. So all right. So yeah, that's all I had on the frequencies. Today, oh my goodness, we have Brenda Kaye coming on. Brenda's a certified hypnotherapist with the National Guild of Hypnosis for over 20 years. And she's trained with some of the best in the field. And she's done all kinds, like including weight reduction, regression therapy, parts therapy, which I don't even know what that is. We have to find out what that is. Forensics hypnosis, and she's also a speaker and an entertainer who performs interactive comedy hypnosis in shows around the world. Welcome, Brenda.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we're so excited to hear everything you have to say. And we named the show Hypnosis Around the World because you have spent 13 years on a cruise ship, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a dreamer. I'm an Aquarius. You were talking about Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. I'm like, yes, this is my time. But I am a Colorado native, and I remember I'm a dog mom, I'm a wife, I'm a stepmom, all of those things. But first and foremost, I'm a people person. I love to help people. I love the power of the mind. I love to help people heal. And that's, I think, because I was on my own healing journey or life experience, I'm very artistic, and I didn't know quite how to put that into like a real job. So I went to college to be a graphic designer, but that just didn't feel right. And so I remember being at a point where I was really lost and looking for focus, direction, purpose in my life. And that's when I was in Boulder, Colorado, and I saw this sign at a street festival that said free hypnosis. And I had no idea really what hypnosis was, but I was a poor college student, so anything free caught my eye. I said, hey, what's this hypnosis and how do I get it for free? And it turns out it was a hypnosis school. They were looking for guinea pigs to practice on. They said, if you agree to let us hypnotize you, then you can have free sessions. I said, cool. What does hypnosis do? They said, you can use hypnosis to change your mind if you've got habits or behaviors that you'd like to change, if you want to stop smoking, if you want to lose weight, if you want to manage pain. I said, all of that's pretty cool, but like, can hypnosis help me figure out what I want to do with my life? And they said, I don't know, you could try. And so I said, sign me up. And so I met with the hypnotist, and I was really scared because of what I had seen in the movies. Once I learned that it's not really like what you see on TV, it's much better, then I was more open. And turns out I had an aha, life-changing moment in my third hypnosis session. And I just had this knowing that hypnosis is what I wanted to do with my life. So I was, in essence, hypnotized to become a hypnotist. Because I really love it. I loved what it did for me and how it made me feel. And I knew I wanted to do that for other people.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
cool.
That's
I was
story.
hypnotized to become a hypnotist. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, it's never what I had envisioned for my life, but that was just the start of many good things to come.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So tell us exactly what being hypnotized is, or what hypnosis is. What exactly happens?
Well, I heard you talking about the levels of mind and how the tuning forks can get you into those levels of mind. And with meditation, you can go there, and the alpha and the theta states. And so what hypnosis is, it's just another tool to get you to those levels of mind where you're more open and receptive to change. It's just another tool in the toolbox to help get you there. So what hypnosis does is access the subconscious part of the mind where your habits, your beliefs, your behaviors, your inner programming is kept. And it can go in there and basically reprogram your computer system. Because from the age of 0 to 7, we're developing our beliefs about the world and how we experience the world. And in those first 7 years, we don't have a filter. We're just accepting whatever is happening as it is what it is, and that's how life works. And after the age of 7, we develop that filter, that rational reasoning, that critical faculty that kind of filters out how we experience the world. So after the age of 8, it's pretty much set how we experience the world and how we base our perception of the world. So after that time, it can be more difficult to go in and rewrite the program because you've got that conscious interference. So hypnosis bypasses that conscious interference, or that filter, or the firewall, however you want to imagine it. And it goes in there and it helps to reprogram, reset, and rewrite what it is that you want and how you perceive the world.
Exactly.
I love how you explain that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really, really great explanation. So I have to ask, what is parts therapy?
Parts therapy is getting in tune with the different parts of your body and the cells. So it would be like, you could talk to different parts of your body, like with hypnofertility, a lot of people have issues with their uterus not functioning right. So you can go in and talk to the uterus, or you could talk to different aspects of your personality. Like you've got the archetypes, you've got the saboteur, you've got the hero, you've got, or even if, and we were talking about the inner child, going in and talking to that part of you, that inner child part of you, and getting resolution, getting and giving them what they need. So I think we have so many different aspects of us that have specific wants and needs. And a lot of time it just needs to be heard so that we can address it and free ourselves or move forward, learning whatever is intended.
Absolutely. And it's sometimes just having a conversation to get down to, what did you decide was the truth about the world at that time? And then allow its mind to say, okay, we can choose something different here. And, deciding to walk in a different path at that point.
Yes, I love that, because you don't know what you don't know. When you don't know better, you can't do better. So maybe your 5-year-old self only knew this one way of dealing with a situation, but your adult self has a better, higher perspective. And so, getting that clarity is freeing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love it. So how would you know how hypnotizable you are?
Ooh, so like you talked about when you said hypnosis around the world. So part of my hypnosis journey was working in a private practice. I started that in 2001, so over 20 years ago. So I was in a private practice, and then I wanted to get to a bigger stage. And that's when I started working on cruise ships and doing hypnosis shows. So part of my hypnosis show is coming in and telling people what hypnosis is like, and then doing some imagination exercises to see how hypnotizable you are. Because when I'm looking to do a show, I'm looking for the most hypnotizable people to come on stage and experience hypnosis. So hypnosis, number one, is something that we can all do. It's a natural state of mind that we go through as we're falling asleep and when we're waking up. It's that in-between zone. So we can all get there. Some people just have a natural ability to get there much quicker. So I have a couple different ways to see how hypnotizable somebody is. And one of the quickest, easiest ways is an eye roll test. It's called the Spiegel eye roll test. So if you imagine, or if you can relax your eyes and roll your eyes back in your head and imagine that you're looking through the tip top or very roof of your head. Imagine you can see the ceiling directly above you, and I'll let my eyes roll back as far back as they possibly can. The more white you see at the bottom of somebody's eyes, the more hypnotizable they are.
Okay, check me out.
So, okay. You both can do it at the same time. Or Linda, let's watch Karen. So you can do it first. So take a deep breath in. Just breathe in, exhale and relax. Now relax the muscles in and around your eyes. Relax your eyeballs. With your eyes open, allow your eyes to roll back in your head. Allow your eyes to roll back easily and gently. And just imagine you can stare right through the very tip top or roof of your head. And just hold it, let your eyes roll back just a little farther back. Okay, now stop. So, and do you see how her eyes barely moved, how we can barely see any white at the bottom? Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So
what was it you saw?
So there was very little to no white when your eyes rolled back.
Okay.
So should I tell you what that means, or should we see how far Linda's rolled back first?
Go Linda first.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
I want to see
So,
the look.
So keep your head straight, like looking forward. Keep your face in the same spot. So take a deep breath in and relax. Relax your eyelids, relax your eyes. Just let your eyeballs float right in the socket. With your eyelids open, allow your eyes to roll back. So look onward and upward and imagine you can stare right through the very tip top or roof of your head. Good. Continue looking right through the top of your head. Let your eyes roll back, way back, even further back. Good. And just freeze right there. And you can see that her eyes roll back halfway. See all that white at the bottom? Okay, good. You can relax your eyes now. You can stop. So cool. That showed two different aspects. So Karen, yours rolled back little to none. So what that means is that you tend to be an overthinker, highly analytical. Maybe you have a hard time relaxing. Is that true?
I don't know about the hard time relaxing part, but overthinking, definitely. Analytical,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Well, if you're a good meditator, then you wouldn't have a problem relaxing. But you did say, okay, so people that their eyes roll back little to none, they tend to be overthinkers. They tend to be too much in their own head. So with that, if you're overanalyzing and overthinking, you're too much in your conscious mind. So that can restrict access to the subconscious.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that you can't be hypnotized. It just means that it may take a little longer for you, or you need a different technique. Now with Linda, her eyes rolled back halfway, which means you have a normal natural level of hypnotizability. So you could go in it very easily if you wanted to. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get with it. Now, if your eyes rolled back even more, like 3/4 of the way, you're going to go even quicker. If they roll all the way back, that's amazing. That's what we call, or what we tend to call our somnambulists, the people that can go really deep, really fast. It also means that they're very creative, and that they could be a little bit crazy. Not that they are, but they could be, because your mind is just like, whoa, out there.
Right.
So
that explains a lot, though, because when Linda and I both did hypnosis, we both have we've both done hypnosis, and Linda was practicing on me and I couldn't go. Remember? Do you remember the first time you tried?
But you wouldn't go all the way. It was like I hit a wall, and it was like, she's like, nope, not going any further. Nope.
So that makes sense now, right? That was a good one. Okay, great.
So Kim Williams is asking, Brenda, could you roll your eyes for reference?
Oh, I thought I did. Okay, so I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to look right in the camera and then look up, let my eyes roll back, way back, all the way back, all the way back. Are they moving? Can you see?
Yeah, they're.
Oh, gosh.
I think they're about the same.
Busy.
Linda.
What's that?
Yeah, I think they're about the same as what Linda's was.
Yeah. And I think too, I have to watch a video, but sometimes they cross too.
Yeah, they're crossed.
They're kind of going center. Yeah.
What that means.
Karen's did too when she was doing hers, when that last time you said go high up again, and hers kind of went that way too.
Oh, is that right? So does that have anything else? Does that mean anything, Brenda, that they cross like that?
I don't know. Honestly, okay. I've never looked into that. But I think that's just the natural, what your eyes do. But did you notice how much strain and stress that put on your eyes?
I still feel it.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So as much as that is an indicator of how hypnotizable you are, it's also a way to get into hypnosis. Because our eye muscles are some of the hardest working muscles in our body. So when we can strain and stress them out and just look up to the point where it's just too much effort to keep our eyes open anymore, and then we allow our eyes to close, then all of the rest of the muscles in our body can follow suit. Nice. So when we relax these muscles, we can relax the rest of the muscles. So when I start my hypnosis in the show, I start with that. For number one, to see how hypnotizable they are. When I see their eyes roll all the way back, I'm like, ooh, that's going to be a good person, or ooh, this person, maybe not so much, because I only want the people that are really going to go into hypnosis to be on stage. So, I'll, it just gives me a good indicator, but it also gives them a start to start going into hypnosis, to start relaxing. So that's a good way to start doing self-hypnosis on your own. Or if you want to deepen your meditation, you can do that at the start of any meditation. Just keep your eyes looking up until you can't keep them open anymore, and then just let them close.
So Brenda, there's a lady, she said, or I'm not sure if it's a lady or a man, but it's Inna Soholsky. Lutsky. I'm sorry, I'm probably destroying it. Sorry. But she says, hi, ladies. Brenda's techniques have helped me a lot, so I'm eager to learn more from all of you.
Yay.
Awesome.
Very beautiful.
Wow.
Thanks for joining us, Ina. Yeah.
Yay. Yeah. And, I'm still very blessed to have worked on cruise ships for 13 years. So not only was I doing the stage hypnosis shows for fun, a fun way to introduce people to the power of their mind, I was also hosting workshops and seminars. And so in my seminars, I would teach people more in depth about hypnosis. We would do self-hypnosis seminars and we would do guided relaxation sessions. And so people would make lifelong changes in those sessions. Like I remember a guy saying that just after one session, he stopped his nail biting. Another guy said, Brenda, you saved my marriage. You helped me get rid of my anger towards just life in general and towards my wife. He's like, I'm a nicer husband now because of you. And so to hear all of these stories was really just so fun.
That's amazing. Yeah. And what an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So you had talked about everybody knows that we do a little meeting before or a little pre-show kind of where we just chat for a few minutes. And we had talked about then toxic words and that sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. So I love helping people accomplish goals. And it's kind of that time of the year people are thinking about, what do I want to have for the next year? What goals do I want to put in place? What intentions do I want to put in place? And so when I'm working with people for success in weight loss or business improvement or different things like that, so often when you ask people what is it they want, they'll tell you what they don't want. Right? Well, I don't want this and I don't want that. And And that's a big red flag, because I think one of the most toxic words to our success in getting what we want is the word not, which can be not, don't, can't. Because something funny happens in the mind, or it's not even funny, a phenomenon happens called farsing, and your mind skips over the word not. So what you're doing is hearing the exact opposite. So for example, if a waiter comes to your table at a restaurant and says, don't touch this plate, it's hot, what's the first thing you tend to do? You touch it. He told you it was hot, but you touched it anyway, because what you really hear is touch this plate, it's hot. Your mind skips over the don't. And so when we're working with people for weight, they say, well, I don't want to have dessert, or I don't want to eat the whole bag of cookies, or I'm not going to have dessert, or different things like that. Your mind skips over. So I'm going to eat the whole bag of cookies. So the word not actually sabotages it. So I think that's a very, very toxic word when it comes to getting what you want.
Right.
So that's one word. Another word is try. Ooh, if anybody has worked with me, they know how much I call them out on the word try, because try to the subconscious mind implies failure. It gives you an excuse. It gives you an out not to do something. Think about it. How many times have you tried to work out 5 days a week and actually done it? Or you've told somebody, yeah, I'll try to meet you, but you don't really want to. You just say try to like put it out there. Or I'm going to try to drink more water. I'm going to try to eat better. But when your mind says try, well, like I could do it, I can't, it's always going to revert to the easiest way. Your subconscious is always going to revert back to your habit. So if it doesn't have to do something, it just won't. So try implies failure. So decide whether you want to do it or not. So instead of saying, I'm going to try to get to the gym, or I'm going to try to do better, say, I am going to the gym 5 days this week. I'm choosing to get better. So you can say, claim it as it's happening now. Give your subconscious mind a directive. Your subconscious mind likes to follow direct orders, but you have to be firm with it. So just declare, this is what's happening, rather than try. So when you catch yourself saying try, cancel out that word and decide what you want to do. So eliminate not, eliminate try. And then the other toxic word, and this is more so when it comes to weight. Do you think this is pertinent to your group?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So,
everything you have to say is pertinent to our group.
Yeah.
Okay. So I taught weight loss seminars, weight management seminars for a really long time. And the reason I say is because when it comes to weight, the word lose is super toxic. But I guess this could apply. Well, so think about any time you have lost something in your life. What's your go-to response? You want to find it, right? If you lose your car keys, you need to find it. If you lose money, you better get that money back, or I better make some more. So when it comes to weight, the word lose is super toxic, because when you say, I want to lose weight, or I've lost weight, your mind, your subconscious says, ding, ding, ding. Hey, we've lost something. We better find it again. Or we better find a way to get it back. And so that sabotages you, and it makes you want to eat more cookies or skip that day at the gym. So your subconscious can't tell the difference between losing weight and losing your car keys. It just wants to get back whatever you've lost so that you get back to where you were, because your subconscious mind wants to keep you safe in where you were. So I think the most, go ahead.
Ines, they're saying it's amazing how changing some wording can completely change the way you choose your action.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 100%. It's just those little words that make all the difference.
Mhm.
Yes.
And immediately when you were talking about the word lose, it instantly connected me to this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I lost something so valuable. And it was like, yeah, of course, that's exactly what my mind does. And I love that awareness. So awesome.
Yeah, and I think too, the word lose triggers that lack. So even if you're talking about manifesting, you want to focus on what you want rather than the lack, right? Because manifesting is all about a feeling. So if you're feeling that lack or that loss, you're going to get more of what you don't want, right? Because the mind is focused to, or the mind is programmed to, whatever we focus on expands. So if we're focused on the lack, we'll get more of it. If we're focused on the good, we'll get more of that.
Really good to keep all of this in mind as well, Brenda, when people are doing affirmations.
Yes.
Right?
And that's part of what I teach people with self-hypnosis is to how to create positive affirmations. How do you speak to yourself in a way to get what you want? Because that's also what I do in hypnosis. When I guide you into that level of your mind where you're more receptive, I give you back what you want in the frame of positive suggestions. And I remember when I was starting my career as a hypnotist and working on building my private practice and shifting from a full-time job to a private practice, there was kind of that transition mode. And I remember wanting to make more money. And so I had this affirmation that money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. And I would repeat that over and over and over again. And it turns out that I got a promotion at my job. So I was making more money. So money was flowing to me easily and effortlessly. But then I also realized I was promoted to a bookkeeper at an apartment community. So people were paying me rent each month. So money was flowing to me. People were paying me rent, but it wasn't for me.
Oh my goodness.
And once I recognized that, I'm like, ha ha ha, universe, you're pretty tricky. So I had to reframe that. Money flows to me and for me easily and effortlessly. And then once I did that, money flows to me and for me, I was able to release that job and go into hypnosis full time. So crazy how shifting that one word changed it all.
That's amazing. And just another example of how our mind takes direct commands, right?
Yes. And so I'm so grateful that you brought that up because your subconscious mind is super literal and it can't take a joke. So it's going to translate everything super literally. And if you're joking with yourself about how stupid you are or how this or that you are, your mind just says, yeah, that's me. Like, and I tell people, what you say to yourself and about yourself, you hear it. Even if it's in the privacy of your own mind, every cell of your body hears that. So if you're looking in the mirror saying, wow, I've got a big old butt, your cells say, yeah, we've got a big old butt. Let's do whatever we can to make sure our butt stays big because that's who we are. So even if you're joking about how big your butt is, you're reaffirming that that's what you are, who you are, what you have. So if that's not what you want, you better change it.
I so wish that this stuff would be taught, these words, these sabotage words, because that's what they are, would be taught to children when they were younger as to how, how damaging they can be, right? I mean, it's great that we're learning it now, and we've been learning these things for the last little while, but the children are the ones that really need to learn these things as well, right?
It's so true. To empower them from an early age would make such a difference, because how many kids go through life or their teenage years, which are hard, not feeling like they have any power or control.
Well, it's interesting because, and this is really, we went to go visit my good friend, and my daughter and her son, they're only a year apart. So he's in one age younger. But the kids on the playground, they do this roasting of each other. And the stuff that they say, it's like, no, like, don't ever say, but I mean, they're at school. So there's really not a whole lot that we can do about what they're doing. But it's like so becoming so regularly accepted to just like say really not nice, mean things to each other. Like I'm just annoyed by it because
yeah, that's super sad.
it truly is super sad. Like, and it doesn't matter how much we can try and say, like, don't do that. Don't you know how damaging it is? Like, you know, and even when I listen to my daughter and the language she uses to herself, I'm constantly like, you need to be nicer to yourself. You're beautiful and wonderful. And, you know, like it does need to be taught to our children. Absolutely.
It really does.
Yeah. And that's what I find, or that's what I call labels. So we put labels on ourselves, or we allow other people to label us, you know, like you're not good enough, or you're stupid, or you're fat, or you're funny, or you're beautiful. And we just, all these like little labels, like produce labels, get stuck to us, you know, over our lifetime. And we can, sometimes we have the power to pull it off. Sometimes we don't. But our mind just accepts all those labels, and we either live up or down to it. And so, yeah, it's just learning that they're not permanent. They're just labels. They're not branded within our DNA. We can rewrite those labels. We can pull them off. We can destroy them. We can add new ones. So, but if we don't know we have that power, then we just don't do anything about it.
Well, and this is it. And I find too, when you look at like, because I do inner child work, right? So I'm constantly like looking for those little cues in the way you're thinking that bring us to the original time when you made a choice deep down inside that the world was a certain way. That's not in alignment with what you want to achieve, right?
Right.
And like those trigger moments, those moments when you decided are usually moments where, you know, there wasn't a whole lot big thing happening. It's just that the way the world was presenting itself, you just decided right in that moment that it is this way. And everything from that moment on confirms that it is that way. Right?
Yes.
Because the mind doesn't want to be crazy. So it creates and sees in the outside world exactly what it needs to confirm that that's true.
Yeah. And I believe that's your ego. Your ego never wants to be wrong. So it always looks for proof that you're right for whatever you're thinking.
And it's
I love
perception. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that you said you made a decision in that moment and everything else revolved around it. And we can do that even as adults. We can decide in this moment that I want something to be different.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's declaring it.
And if you don't, you can be hypnotized to do it.
Yeah. If you need some help, which that's what hypnosis is, it's that bridge to help make those changes much easier, because we can consciously make changes, but it takes a lot more effort and a lot more brain power to fight through that filter. So absolutely, thank you for the call back, Karen, that hypnosis can make it easier for you.
Yeah, for sure. So Brenda, tell me, do you do online sessions as well?
Yes. So thanks to COVID, I learned to love and appreciate the virtual world. I was very scared and wasn't sure if hypnosis could even work online. But once I started doing it, I realized that the real change happens in somebody's mind. They don't need to be standing in front of me or sitting in a recliner in front of me, that we can connect virtually just like we are today. And all they have to do is close their eyes and listen to my voice. And they can do that they had been doing it with audio recordings for 20 years prior, even on cassette tapes. People would listen to cassette tapes and make the change. So we can do it online. So I do work virtually, online, one-on-one, and in groups.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we have all your links up. So if anybody's watching and they're interested in setting an appointment with you or being part of a group that you might have, they can definitely go in and check the links that we put up there. I'm not sure if they're up because, or
Nope,
we'll put them
there.
up. They're there? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay. So the other thing now we had mentioned there was when you're on stage, and you're doing hypnosis on stage, there must be some funny moments.
Yes, I love seeing people have fun with hypnosis, and I love the random things that happen surely by accident, because you can give 20 people the same suggestion and everybody's going to do something different with that suggestion based on their own personalities, their own wants, and their own needs. And so one of my favorite skits, if you will, in the show is when I tell all of the volunteers that they are all second graders in my class. I'm their teacher. They all go back to being in the second grade. And I suggest that they're misbehaving anytime my back is turned. When I'm looking at them, they're totally sweet, totally normal. But when my back's turned, they are goofing off. And what they do behind my back is hilarious. You know, some of them are pulling each other's hairs. I've had the kids throw spit wads at me. Some of them pull my hair. But this one time, there was this guy, and I'm talking to the audience. I'm looking out to the audience, and I know I can hear things going on behind me. But what I don't realize is that there was a guy that had army crawled on the stage behind me. And on stage, I wear these big gowns. He crawled up behind me and was looking under my dress. I felt my dress move. I looked down and I'm like, what are you doing? And he ran back to his seat and he hid his eyes from me. Like, if he can't see me, I can't see him, just like a little kid would do. And that was totally hilarious, but I'll never forget that was hilarious. But there was another kid actually, and I went up to him and I said, hey, I asked him a question, what his name was or something like that. And he was speaking to me in another language. And I thought, well, this is weird. Like, maybe this is his just way of goofing off. He didn't really want to talk to me. But I talked to him after the show and I said, hey, what was that? And he said, it was super interesting when you asked me a question when we were second graders, because at that time in my life, I was living in Mexico and I only knew Spanish. I didn't learn English until I came to the US years later. So he really regressed back to being that actual age where he only knew Spanish. So he was speaking to me in Spanish.
Wow.
So that was really cool. Another fun thing is I give the suggestion to a guy that he is the most generous man in the world. And each time I say a key word, money is the key word, he would give me something of his. And it was always funny to see what they would give me. You know, some people wouldn't give me anything because maybe they weren't really a generous person, but some people would give me their shoes, they would give me their socks, they would give me the shirt off their back. A lot of men gave me their wedding rings. Because it was something that meant a lot to them. Right. But I remember this one time that this guy, I don't know, I usually pick a guy that has a lot of like accessories so that he has things that he could easily give me. But I guess this one show, there was just this one guy that I knew would respond, and he didn't really have a lot on. So the first thing he gave me was the shirt off of his back. And I was like, okay. He's sitting there with his shirt off. And then I said money again. He gave me his shoes. And then I looked, I'm like, he really doesn't have anything left to give me. And so the crowd is like, ooh. And I said, I don't really want to say it again because what does he have left besides his shorts? And his wife is like, say it. Say the word. And I said, I don't think I could say money, or I don't think I could do it for all the money in the world. And so I said the keyword on purpose, and the guy yanked off his shorts. And the whole audience is gasps. and I didn't want to turn around. But when I did, he was standing there in his rainbow striped metallic boxer briefs.
Oh my God.
In all the glory for 1,000 or more people to see. I cannot get that image out of my brain. It's like burnt back in the subconscious.
Oh,
This guy in his rainbow striped underwear. But
Hilarious.
and I ran over and I'm like, put your clothes back on. But that just shows people's comfort level. Like if he wasn't a guy that would be willing to do that, he just wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. But he was free and comfortable with his body, and so you just never know. So that's some of the funny things.
She's also saying that she's been on the cruise ship to see one of your shows, and she's saying the presentation she saw on a cruise ship were the most hilarious thing she's ever seen. The whole audience was in stitches.
Oh, yay! And that's one of the funniest things, just how people respond. Thank you so much for that. And I also love to give the suggestions that people's body parts will either get bigger or disappear. So to hear what their favorite body parts are is hilarious, number one. And like I've had a guy, his ears were his favorite body part. There's another guy, it was his calves. Another guy, it was his biceps, and he was doing push-ups on the stage. But 9 times out of 10, you can imagine what a guy's favorite body part is. So when it gets bigger and how they respond to that, hilarious.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. It would be amazing to have you at a party.
It is fun party entertainment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love it. It must be so much fun to travel and be interacting with all these strangers, and it's just so fun.
Yeah. And really, it was my dream come true. Even before I found hypnosis, my dream really was to travel the world like a rock star and get paid to do what I love. And so when I learned hypnosis and I learned how to do self-hypnosis, that was one of my affirmations. That's one of the things that I told myself on a daily basis. And I couldn't have ever imagined that working on a cruise ship would be the way that it manifested. But it's better than I could have ever imagined. I was able to see the world and to do what I love and to have so much fun. And that was super important to me. And that was all part of like what I was asking for. I want to have fun. I want to see the world. I want to be able to, do all those things. And that's how it happened. So it was using the power of my mind to set that intention within my mind. And it worked out better than I could have ever expected. So
I love it.
Yeah, very blessed, very grateful.
Especially like we just did a show last week on intention, right? Is that power of intention?
Last week. Yes. Yeah. Trusting your intuition. Sorry.
Right.
But there was a lot to do with intention in trusting your intuition, right?
Absolutely. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And and it's those things too. I remember, and I think I have the book here. Oh, I do have it. So I remember learning hypnosis and kind of just working on manifesting my dreams. And I was reading this book, Inspiration by Wayne Dyer. I was at the pool at my apartment complex reading this book. And I had this overwhelming desire, this like burning sensation in my body that I need to go to this hypnosis convention no matter what. I had been wanting to go for years, but I never had the money or whatever. There was always an excuse, but I knew this year, for some reason, I needed to go. I needed to be there. So I went to my hypnosis instructor. I said, I don't know what this is, but I can't ignore it. And I have to get to this convention. She said, let's figure out a way. And we did it. And at that convention, I met my connection to get on the cruise ship. A guy found out what I did and he said, hey, I like what you do. Have you ever thought about working on a cruise ship? I said, that sounds exactly like my dream. I said, let's do it. So it's trusting those feelings. If I wouldn't have trusted that feeling, I wouldn't have gone to the conference. I wouldn't have met the people that I met, and I wouldn't have ended up, or maybe I would have, it just would have been a different road. Who knows? But it is tuning into that, asking for what you want and then listening, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
too, right? If you wouldn't have had those intentions, you wouldn't have had such a strong pull to make it happen.
True. Yes. Yes. And yeah, it's thinking it, it's writing it down and plugging it into that subconscious. And with that, your subconscious loves to solve problems. It loves to figure out the how. It's your goal achieving mind. So if you can put in a question, we like to call this affirmations. So you're forming how you want it to be. So just ask your mind how to do it and let the hows just develop, like developing a photo.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love it. It's been such a pleasure sitting and listening to you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
I have to say, Brenda, this is probably one of my favorite vidcasts.
Oh, thank you so much.
You've been so interesting. Just listening. I looked at the clock a few minutes ago and I thought, oh my God, where did the time go?
We were all in a trance.
We were. Thank you
I feel the
so
same.
much. Oh my goodness. So honored to have you on and listen to you speak. I would love to see you in action.
Oh my gosh, me too.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Thanks.
So are you still on the cruise ship or no?
No, the cruise ships are in rollout phase. They were only allowed to sail just within the last 6 months. And so they're not sailing at full capacity, and they're not hiring any acts that are audience interactive. They want to keep people separated. So yeah, because of the thing. So I'm not sure when I'll be back. We'll have to see. So in the meantime, I'm just loving connecting with people on this platform.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, any of our viewers, we have all of Brenda's links up. So if anybody wants to reach out to her, by all means, she's very, very approachable. So go ahead and do that.
Thanks.
Do we have any announcements, Linda? Do you have any?
Only that the cleanse support is open and welcome to join at any time. I am doing some moon reports coming up for the new year. So if you're interested in getting your moon report, you can email me at sendmemymoonreport at gmail.com. Yeah, I think that's all I have going on.
Okay. And for me, it's the same. It's the same as what it was last week. My tuning fork course is coming up in February. And I think that's it right now. Yeah. What about you, Brenda? Do you have anything to announce?
Well, I have a general hypnosis holiday. So January 4th is World Hypnotism Day. And in honor of that and sharing the power of hypnosis with the world, I am hosting a free stress reduction relaxation virtual event. So it's January 4th at noon Mountain Time. And I will post a link for that on my Facebook page, or maybe I can give it to you or drop a link in your
comments below
the comments.
So that,
yes.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you for having me.
We're right on time too. Next week we have coming up practicing gratitude. So that's on Wednesday, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Days away. So excited.
Days away. So exciting. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.